So with the new year right around the corner and a brand new territory battle just releasing, I think we're all in need of some clarity for what our next farm should be. But look no further, because here are the top 5 farms for 2023 in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Rolling up in our number 5 spot is our big, beautiful, anti-slavery, healthy lifestyle enthusiast, Jabba the Hutt. Being the most recent galactic legend and our first non-lightsaber using GL, it's actually pretty easy for us to overlook him. However, when we break it down, Jabba's farm is actually one of the most tame in terms of relic investment for galactic legends. Just one relic 8 on Han Solo and a couple relic 7s on other key characters like Jedi Knight Luke, with 2 hard node marquees, means that relatively speaking, he is not too far out of reach. And at the very least, Jabba is a top 5 galactic legend on both offense and defense, so there is absolutely no shame in having him in your roster. Bringing things back to the new TV Rise of the Empire, Jabba and the Hutt Cartel are going to be an absolute necessity on that middle neutral path, with not 1, not 2, but 6 combat missions dedicated to just him, which is insane. And say your guild isn't quite up to the task of a new TV, Jabba still has special missions in both Geonosis and Hoth. And let's not forget about the extra resources you get from the new Smuggler's Run event too. However, I think the best thing about Jabba is that his requirements are not only generally pretty solid, but they create the full competitive team for him to use with the Hutt Cartel. SLKR and arguably Rey are the only other GLs to have this quality about their farms. Speaking of quality, you should totally drop a subscription for more quality content. We are seriously closing in on 1,000 subs, which would mean the world to me if we could hit that by the end of the year. I love you. Anyways, overall, Jabba is a great farm to chase, and personally one I am going for in 2023. Now in number 4, we have a fleet farm in the form of the Executor. I probably would have put this on my top farms for 2022 list as well if I made one. It's just been that consistent for that long. To have a fleet with such dominance over everything else except the profundity, for a relatively laid back set of requirements, is something you just can't skip on. Also, might I add, the laid back requirements I'm talking about are straight fire for the most part. Admiral Piet, Darth Vader, Bosk, Boba Fett, Dengar, etc. And similarly to Jabba, the requirements for this fleet make up the competitive fleet, which is huge when it comes to managing resources in a game like this. You seriously won't be hitting Kyber unless you have the Executor up and running, so this farm is totally a no-brainer if you haven't already snagged the ship with the remote control Death Star. Alright, for number 3 we have everyone's talk of the town, the Grand Inquisitor. Now it's no secret that the Inquisitors have been shoved down our throats on about 7 different separate occasions, because in reality they're no one's favourite characters and aren't necessarily the best team. But when it comes down to it, these guys really have so much bang for your buck. Let's start with the main reason, unlocking the third sister in the new TB. So Reva will undoubtedly bring this team to the next level, and to unlock it you will need Inquisitors up at Relic 7, which admittedly is pretty sickening. The good news is though, with their own assault battle, the Inquisitors will definitely be worthwhile of an investment, getting you 20 free Chirotech amongst other relic materials every single month. Stacking that over like the next year, the next 2 years, maybe even next 3 years, will result in a lot of extra gear and resources. And of course, Inquisitorious units are needed for an unreal amount of feats in galactic challenges, as well as in conquests, so you got that going for them too. The main reason they aren't higher up on this list is just because they aren't accelerated farms yet, and so it's actually going to take you months and months to get them up and running, unfortunately. On to our number 2 spot. This one is old but gold, in the form of Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So SLKR is probably a mid-tier galactic legend, which is fine as it is, but he has huge upsides to his farm. Being one of the original GLs, SLKR has super low relic investment required, alongside Rey. And like I mentioned earlier, his full First Order team is part of the farm, but unlike Jabba, he is not restricted to just the First Order. He can be chucked in with Darka and Zombie for some cheese, and there's a bunch of different lineups that can allow him to solo the heroic Sith raid. And even better regarding his farm is the Finalizer. This fleet has amazing offensive capabilities, being generally the most reliable Executor counter, which I can't understate the importance of having. But it doesn't just end there. The ships required for the finalizer are basically half of the executor farm. So there's just so much value right there. And of course Kylo Ren himself will continue to be super relevant moving forward in just about every game mode, and is a great farm to chase ahead of the new year. Now for the big number one, we have none other than Starkiller. This beautiful man is seriously such great value for relative investment. Keeping in mind Starkiller only has 4 requirements, and these 4 characters are all accelerated and will boost your roster immensely across other factions, this farm is an absolute no-brainer. It is such good value, especially considering Starkiller himself can easily counter Ray teams and certain JML lineups. As you can see here, he melts through the brand new TB mixed missions. So now is as good as time as ever to farm up this absolute beast of a character. There really isn't much more to it, except for you to subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment. See you next time. Bye!